Assalamu alaikum viewers, I'm Zubia Irfan. Welcome to today's session on ethics and professionalism. In today's fast-changing business world, maintaining ethical values and professionalism is more important than ever. These qualities define how we interact, build trust, and create long-term success in our careers and businesses. Today, we are honored to have Mr. Atif Muhammad Ali, a seasoned leader with 18 plus years of experience, who will share his insights on how ethics and professionalism can drive business success and personal growth. Let's dive into this important discussion. So, Assalamu alaikum, Mr. Atif.
वालेकुम सलाम। कैसी हैं आप? खैरियत से?
जी बिल्कुल ठीक ठाक आप कैसे हैं
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह।
सो हमारा जो आज का टॉपिक है एथिक्स एंड प्रोफेशनलिज्म आई विल रिक्वेस्ट टू शेयर योर इनसाइट्स ऑन इट
Well, thank you for having me here. I think it's a very relevant topic in today's world, and also quite close to my personal journey, the professional setting that I'm in. It also is quite close to the organization which I work in, which is Engro Fertilizer. Um,
right
and ethics, integrity, professionalism is something which I keep of telling a lot of professionals that your competence, your skill set is something that you grow, that you build, you learn, you drop few, you add few, but your ethics and professionalism stays with you throughout. As professionals, the only thing that we have in the market to stand us apart from competition and from others is our values and the integrity and ethics that we carry. So just to share some of my personal insight and some insights that we at Engro follow, because I think it's relevant to share the framework that we follow. So as an organization, for example, one of the models that we follow is called the TTHIS, which stands for truth, trust, humility, integrity, and sabr. It's a model that is very close to the ecosystem and to the business where we operate in. So truth for us is, and for me as well, is the courage to speak the truth even when the situation is very difficult. And professionals, uh, especially young startups, will face a lot of these challenges that at times they will have an option of not to say the truth. But the truth and speaking with courage, honestly, with accuracy, um, creates this transparency in an environment and creates credibility. It then feeds into trust, and trust is between two professionals and the professional itself to carry that trustworthiness so that people believe that he or she is reliable, he or she is consistent. So truth and trust become the core foundation.
right
Then you have
absolutely
then you have humility. देखिए जहाँ पर truth and trust is coming in, it's also important that one has to be humble, one has to be respectful. Uh, One cannot say that I'll be truth and trustworthy, but I'll be harsh or I'll be rude, I'll be um, not speaking the right tone. Humility is also equally important, and humility for us is it's being aware of what your strengths and limitation are, is to understand the complexities of life and re- to believe that everyone is equal, is to be self-aware and to respect. Uh, then that feeds into integrity. Is that do I follow the right ethical and fair practices? Do I follow my values? Do I have the right moral compass that my actions speak towards it? And last, which I think is very relevant in today's environment, especially if you're working in, I understand that a lot of our audience are startups, is sabr. Is having that strength to be able to wade through the challenges and the complexities that come through it. Is to have that determination, and is to strive for your goal even in the most difficult of times. So TTHIS, as we call it in Engro, truth, trust, humility, integrity, and sabr, is I think a foundation for any professional if they want to stand apart, be differentiated, and above all, do the right thing and in the most ethical and professional way. So these are some
Right,
of my
right,
thoughts on on ethics and professionalism, and how do we look into it from a different lens.
right, right. So, okay. So,
Sorry, do you have
what
a
does
question? Yeah.
yes? So, what does ethical leadership mean to you in today's corporate world?
So ethical leadership is, as a leader, is standing by the right value, is standing to what is the right thing to do. Um, a lot of people will face challenges, will have dilemmas of how to do a particular action. That action could be the right way or the wrong way, but doing the right thing in the right way, that is ethical leadership. And as a leader, to stand up for that, that is important. For example, if if you're doing something, if you're doing a transaction, and let's say that involves uh, any unethical practice, there could be bribery, there could be gifts, there could be anything, and standing up towards us and saying, no, this is not the right way, and the right way is to follow my moral compass and to follow the right thing to do, then to stand up for that. Or if you're building a product and you know that product could be harmful for the environment, then standing up and say that no, I will not have that product for gain of profit, but I will do what the right thing is to do. That, in my opinion, is the ethical practice. Is even in the times of when you can get away, your moral compass guiding you to do the right thing.
Right, right. So, what are the biggest leadership challenges businesses face today?
So I think that in today's environment where it's so fast paced and there is always this desire to hop on to another and to keep on growing and keep on expanding and keep on increasing. Um, it it really one at times questions this and says, okay, let me take the shortcut to make it happen, and that is a challenge because आपके पास when you have investors, when you have people who look into numbers, when you have delivery, when you have to prove to yourself, then you will say that fine, I'll take another route to make it happen. Uh, but at that point, standing and saying, no, I want to stick on the right path. Maybe the right path is difficult, but the end result will be correct. That is a challenging thing, in my opinion. So to refrain yourself from going and taking those shortcuts to going and doing the right thing, even though if the results might take time, I think that for me it's a challenge in today's environment, especially when you have others who don't follow the right steps. But this is again what integrity is all about. Integrity is all about uh, ethical professionalism is all about your moral compass and standing up to the right thing. And that's why I kind of linked this up with the THIS model, is that your truth, your trust, humility, your integrity, your sabr. These are all the foundations that allow you to then um, kind of counter those challenges. If those foundations are not there, then you will not be able to counter those challenges. So if you're not ready to speak the truth, then you will not be able to face the challenges. If you're not humble enough, if you don't carry the right humility, then you will again face that challenge. So if you follow the foundation of true trust, integrity, humility, and sabr, then these challenges can then be mitigated, um, which are quite common now.
Right, right. So, would you like to share some more details on today's topic?
So I think it's something that I can talk to I believe the audience are more startups, right? So for younger professional startups, you will have a lot of challenges. You will have a lot of um, options where you can take another route, where you will say that taking a route could be easier, but then you have to stand up and then take the right path, even though the path is longer. But so that's from an ethical perspective. I think one thing that, and this is from my own experience, there are a lot of people will get into this trap, is to deliver results, you might not think of the counter person in a more humble way. मिसाल के तौर पर, if a startup, let's say, has 4 members and they're building a bigger team, and you have certain deliveries that you have to do because of your before of your VC funding, then you might get very pushy towards your team. You might कभी कभार बदतमीज भी हो जाते हैं. You might use wrong language. You might get a little bit harsh with them. You might be a little bit strict. Uh, so those things are very big red flags. As professionals, it's important that in all settings you keep your calm, your composure, your humility intact. It's fine that you might get away with it today. That I can be harsh with someone, I can be rude with someone, I can get away with being unfair, I can get away being stubborn. But in the long run, it will come and hit you back, because eventually, when your startup is successful, people will still believe that you are not the right person to work for. You're not the right leader to follow. So, it's important that while your practices are ethical, your truthfulness, your trustworthiness, but your human side, your humility side, which builds on your professionalism, no matter what, you don't compromise on that. Don't be
Yeah.
that person that everybody says that uh, you you carry excess baggage, or you are someone who's difficult to work with. Yeah, okay, this person will give me nightmare, or this person will not be empathetic enough when I need that person. So it's very important that you keep that professionalism intact, even in the most difficult of scenario which you are in today. And I know it's difficult because entrepreneurs have so much desire in them to get the results done, to get delivery done, to ensure that the results are there. Um, but the fine balance has to be maintained. And if that journey of self-aware is not one doesn't go on today, then eventually the enterprise which you make, you might make a short buck in the short run, but in the long run, I think it will not work out. So that for me, I think is very critical, is to be self-aware, is to remain within the boundaries of humility and integrity, empathy and humbleness. One that should never let that go. And I think as a country, we need it also a lot. So yeah, that's
Right.
some more thoughts on it.
Okay. So now I would request to the audience if they have any questions.
What will I see the questions over here, or will you see it? How will that work?
Okay. I'm also checking if anybody is asking the question or writing in the chat. Okay. No questions so far. So
Why don't you ask me questions? I'm sure that you will have some questions to ask. So feel free.
yes, yes, exactly. So let's have a quick one word or short answers. Uh, One leadership trait you admire the most.
So I think, in my view, okay, there's a bit of background noise. So in my view, I think the quality that you are empathetic, I think it's a very, very important trait. Very few leaders who I work with are empathetic. They might be nice, they might be sweet, they might be humble, but are they really empathetic? Do they really understand what the other person is thinking? And as you say that IQ and EQ both go hand in hand. You might be very smart in terms of IQ, but you also have to be very smart in terms of EQ. So this kind of feeds into the EQ bucket. Um, a leader who is empathetic, who can understand the other person's point of view by going in the other person's shoes, I think it's a leader that someone will admire and aspire to work with or to become. So I think it's a very important skill set and a trait that empathy is kept and followed. And it also feeds into professionalism, which is, I think, the topic we're talking about.
Right. So, a book that influenced your leadership style.
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
Um, a book that influenced your leadership style.
Okay, a book. Um, well, there are lots of books, but one of the books I read, there was an author called Christopher Clayton, who wrote a
Mhm.
book on core competence. I did a research on it when I was doing my thesis. Um, it although it talks from a very business context, that how should organizations focus on core competence, but it kind of also fits into a leader, that what are your strengths as a leader that you should focus on.
Hmm.
So for example, some leaders have a strength of of being empathetic. Some leaders have a strength of being foresightedness. Well, different leaders have different strengths. So one should be able to identify what his or her strengths are. And I think building on those strengths allows you to be a better leader. And admitting that what you don't know or what are not your strengths, it's fine. And then relying on others to be able to manage those strengths. So a leader might have a great strength of, let's say, managing stakeholders, but might not have, let's say, a great strength of analyzing certain set of numbers. So relying on others to do so, it's fine. So it's a book that, even though it was written from a more business context, from more organizational context, but I think it very much applies to to human beings and leaders. There's another book which I think is on grit. It's relying on your grit and managing your grit to understand and deliver. I think that's also a great book, which over the years has quite influenced me in my actions and my decision. It talks a lot about hard work. It talks about putting in those extra meaningful hours to make it happen and deliver.
Right. So, biggest misconception about leadership.
I think the assumption is that leadership is it's that the leader is has the most time in the world and has the least responsibility. Uh, I think that's a misconception. The leader's job is to ensure that everything in its function, in its domain, in its area, in its company, it could be anything, uh, runs in a seamless fashion. So it's like an engine जिसके बहुत सारे moving parts हैं, and all of these parts are coming together and running together to create an output. The leader's job is to ensure that the engine is well oiled. Uh, its job is not to stand every day and let's say churn the engine, but the job is to ensure that the right temperature is maintained. The job is to ensure that the light oiling is done. The job is to ensure that all the parts are moving in sync and are not vibrating. Uh, so a leader ensures that the ship remains intact. A leader ensures that the culture remains intact. A leader ensures that the people grow, that the people are taken care of. So बहुत सारे लोग in समझते हैं that, and even when I was a younger version of myself, I would say that leadership is all about power, it's all about authority, it's all about fame, and I think that's all incorrect. Leadership is you become more and more humane, you become more self-aware, you become more appreciative of the people you work with, you become more humble as you grow as a leader. And it's all about ensuring that the ship remains intact. Even if a single piece of an engine, if you're unable to, let's say, oil it properly or at the right time, or let's say if a part is shaking and you did not pay attention to fix it, then the entire engine will fall apart, even though the rest of the parts are working fine. So, leadership is not about power and authority, it is about humility, people, and ensuring that you take the right decisions at the right time.
Very right, very right. So, one ethical principle you never compromise on.
I would never compromise on my integrity. As a professional, that is, there are very few things that one carries. Your integrity is really, really important.
Very
Um,
right.
and integrity can go into many from different. I mean, you will not steal, you will not bribe, you will not take undue advantage of your position in power or authority. I think those are very, very key principles, which even up to today I live up to and I value. Uh, and it could be really small things. If you are, let's say, going out to an official meal with, let's say, a client or a customer or a partner, then you don't have to be going and ordering the most expensive item on the menu. It's how do you treat it as your own? That what will I do if it will be my company? Uh, so I think those integrity is something that one should never compromise on, and I have certainly, in my 20 years of career, have never compromised on.
Right, right. So, advice to your younger self.
Um, I would say that explore a little bit more, um, see what else is out there in the world. Although the journey, alhamdulillah, has been great, I've done lots of roles and lots of challenging assignments. Um but I think it would have been interesting to uh, maybe explore more assignments. I think I could have done a lot more in the time that I've had. Um, so I could have put in more hours to be able to do a lot more other tasks. That's one. The other is, I think, networking. Very late in my career, I realized about networking and meeting professionals and learning from others. I should have done that at a very start. And I would encourage a lot of young professionals that in start of your career, please do network and meet other people. Learn from other people. There are lots of things great people are doing out in the world. Never get fixated into your own domain. It's always important to go and see what else is out there, what others are doing, learn from others, and have that learning mindset. So, yeah, the learning mindset probably is what I should have had. I've, I have it later. I mean, I've been learning, but this mindset that to constantly learn and to constantly learn from others and go out there and meet others, I think I should have been doing it a lot more earlier in my career.
Right, right. So it's time for final words from your side. So, if professionals could focus on just one aspect of ethics and leadership in 2025, what should it be?
So I wouldn't put it to a year, but I think So ethics and professionalism is a whole bunch of things, right? So I will encourage young professionals to follow the THIS model that I said earlier, which is truth, truth, trustfulness, humility, integrity, and sabr. I think all of these are important in today's world. You cannot pick one and not pick the other. It unfortunately cannot happen. You have to be truthful. You have to be trustworthy. You have to be humble. You have to be integrity. Your integrity has to be high, and you need to have sabr. And I think all of this fits into probably one word is character. We are defined by our character. Um, and a person is defined by his character. Have the highest character in the society. Our society needs people with high character, integrity, and truthfulness. I think it is a dire need for our country. If we could be truthful, if we could be trustworthiness, if people will trust us, if we could trust people, if we are humble, if we respect, imagine how different the society and our country will be. So it is very
Very,
important, and I really encourage young professionals to have strong character. Don't compromise on your character. And it is the next, it is this generation and the next generation, inshallah, that will help shape the country and make it to a trustworthy country where people around the world trust us, believe in us, and our words carry weight. You don't have to sign a contract to believe us. It should be the word that should be sufficient for the wider world to accept that no, these guys are truthful, these guys are honest, these are trustworthy. So I'll strongly encourage younger professionals who are listening, maybe who will watch this later on, um, do not compromise on your character. Have very strong character, even if it's a painful journey. I think we need it for the country more than anything else.
very right, very right. So, in the end, I would encourage to the attendees to connect with the speaker, Mr. Atif Muhammad Ali, on LinkedIn, and you can see his profile also mentioned over here. And I would request to the attendees to join us CXO Global Forums events, upcoming sessions. Do join us in our upcoming sessions. Mr. Atif Muhammad Ali, thank you for sharing such valuable insights on ethics and professionalism. Your expertise will surely help our audience build ethical and impactful careers. A big thank you to everyone for joining. Stay connected for more engaging discussions at the CXO Global Forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Zubia. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Okay, Ji. Okay. Allah Hafiz. Thank you very much.